Oh yeah. Let's go.
All right, let's see if it.
Yep. There it is.
Boom, there it is.
Yep. Here, there it is, right there.
All right, introduction. Hello, everyone. It's me, Atari HMB, and with me today, I have a special guest. You can introduce yourself.
Yo, what's up? Name's Roz. Full YouTube Roz Munchausen, but Roz is just for short. Let's go with it.
And today, we're going to be taking a close look at this quite an interesting topic that you see quite commonly. How do I say it? Outerversal and immeasurable speed. I didn't even spell immeasurable in the title, right?
Name's
Dang.
Roz. Oh Jesus.
Oh man,
Oh,
it's terrible. But all
no.
right, so that's the way to introduce ourselves. But yeah. Anyway, the main point is we're going to be looking at this whole outerversal thing. We're also going to be talking about a couple terminologies that are underused in the versus battle, community. And we're just going to take a close. We're just going to take a look at it. Let's just dive right on in. So, I'm going to give my initial thoughts. I'll let
Oh
Ross
yeah.
give his thoughts right after. I don't like the term outerversal, particularly because it's overused and it really doesn't represent what it's supposed to. And this is not at fault. Okay, yeah, it is at fault, but it's not like the versus battle wiki themselves aren't accounting for what it means. It's just axiomatically it doesn't really work out as it's supposed to. But what are your thoughts on it, Ross?
So, excuse me for a second. My overall thoughts on the whole Outerversal thing. Personally, it doesn't really need to, in my eyes, fully exist. The whole point of Outerversal is to essentially just be transcend every concept, every dimension there is possible, 10th, 12th, 13th, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to put you in a place where you're essentially just God. It essentially puts you in a place of being tier zero, but for some reason they're like, you have Outerversal, then you have tier zero, which is true omnipotence, which I'm guessing they're saying that an Outerversal being, who is clearly supposed to be omnipotent, isn't an omnipotent being and all powerful at that point. So it's very contrived and really just not well thought out.
I agree with that. That makes sense. And if we take a closer look, as you guys see on the screen, let's take a close look right here and see. Let's say one of the things that you'll notice about Outerversal is they'll say something like this. So, like for general Outerversal, let me see here. Where's it say it? So it says as a constant defined by physics or on any level, even compared to infinity or uncountable infinite dimensions, usually by perceiving them as akin to fiction or something similarly insignificant. So basically, if you transcend your verse to the point it's like fiction, it's Outerversal, because if you see it as fiction, you can axiomatically say, well, I'm gonna just add infinite verses or infinite dimensions into it, because from an author perspective, that's pretty much where you are. So obviously,
Yeah.
when you're at that author tier level, that's exactly what's going to happen. But for obvious reasons, that's not a good point. I mean, even if I read low Outerversal, man, I hate reading this because it doesn't sound like everything is consistently thought through. And this is not to attack them. It doesn't seem like it was well thought out. Just take a look at this right here.
Yeah.
It says characters who functionally transcend the rest of the tiering system and stand outside of any extension of infinite hierarchies and sizes. I agree with that. Then
Yeah.
it says to
Right.
varying degrees and magnitudes in more straightforward terms. This category could be said to be occupied by characters whose size or level of power cannot be reached by merely stacking bigger infinities on top of each other. All right. So basically, stacking an infinite number of infinities can't reach this level, but then it comes down to bro, it's infinitely above high hyperversal, so it's still infinite. It doesn't make any sense. I kind of get what they're saying, but it's kind of worded weirdly. And the part that bothers me the most is characters who can universally affect, create, or destroy structures first off, you can't create an outerverse. That doesn't make any sense. But anyway, or
No.
destroy structures in expanse of uncountable infinite dimensions, or which have a size roughly wait, what does it say?
Wait, what?
Analogous? Analogous? Oh, let me look that word up. Analogous to them. I'm assuming it means inferior. Let me look up that word.
Yeah.
Comparable,
Yeah, no.
comparable in certain aspects. Ah,
Oh, okay.
analogous.
That's
Wait, hold on. Did they spell it right?
hold on.
Oh, they did. I think they did. Okay, they did. I was about to flame them. No, I'm playing. All right, to them, such an uncountable infinity set hierarchies, layers, or planes of existences, or most specifically ones who amount to layers and comparable to a set of all real numbers and are thus equated to the first uncountable infinity or cardinal aleph null or aleph 1 for simplicity's sake. That ain't simplicity. You literally went on to this whole real numbers. And no, all real numbers, all uncountable infinities are all accounted for because every dimension, every in-betweener dimension, every Hilbert space, like 2.5 dimensional, all of that, uncountable numbers, real numbers, whole numbers, rational numbers, fractions, fractorials are all accounted for in an infinite hyperverse. So what are you talking about? That's exactly why I'm not really in agreement with this whole terminology. And
Yeah.
you remember,
I'm sorry, but don't want to cut you off here. But just going through that and looking at that, I'm just like, what? What? Okay, first off, just you can just create an outerverse, I guess. Now, just makes no sense. Bugs Bunny is now just high outerversal. Let's just be honest. He can because he can replace the author whenever he wants to. Let's just go with that.
yeah, I need an outerverse, Doc.
And then just like, do they understand just the concept of like just infinity as a whole, or just infinite numbers, whether it be odd, even, whatever that? Do they not understand?
And that's exactly what I'm trying to talk. That's exactly what I'm talking about. The thing is that when you have these numbers, it's okay to have them. But when you don't understand them, it becomes very difficult to quantify. You're confusing a majority of people. That's why everyone's like, outerversal this, outerversal that, outerversal this. People are using this term so frequently is because, no offense to the versus battle, they're kind of just throwing it together. And the thing is, they're one of the first people, if I recall, to make up this buzzword. And I get the idea, but it's like you said earlier, the whole outerversal is really just to be a level of boundlessness, or basically, even if it's not boundless, it's some level of author tier authority. That's pretty much all it is. And at that point, it's like, does it need to be in a tiering? I mean, I agree it should be in a tiering, but I think the wording needs to be a little bit more simplified because all of that bypassing set of real numbers, or like, for example, characters who can significantly affect, create, or destroy realms stated to fully transcend infinitely layered hierarchies and dimensional levels of conceptual and existential level. Like, I don't care how many adjectives you throw into this. It's the same point. The low outerversal and mid outerversal are the exact same thing. Nothing has changed.
Exactly. In fact, wasn't it? Didn't they use the term like omniversal before changing to like outerversal, if I recall?
Yeah, I think omniversal was actually more appropriate.
Yeah. So like, I mean, the name implies itself, but I don't know. Like I said, I explained my gripes with it. Um, Although I do think that maybe when they say like create, maybe they're talking about creating like
Mm-hmm.
outerversal based concepts. Maybe they're talking more like creating like hyperversal, multi complex or complex multiversal
Yeah,
kind of things. Maybe that's what I feel like that's what they're more referring to more than like creating. But I could be wrong. Just straight up outerversal realms and concepts.
exactly.
Looking at it.
like
So,
let me, like, you see you probably have to look at the stream, but
yeah.
let me open up my program. I'm going to draw out an example. I've done this on every stream, and I never get tired of it because I like to draw, but I just want to paint the picture for everyone else who's watching. If you guys are watching, just pay attention closely. I'm going to try to keep this as simplistic as possible, but at the same time, I want you guys to kind of understand. So again, as you can see on the screen, we're in a blank canvas. Now I'm just going to use, oops. So I'm just going to use something very basic and simple. We're gonna just call this whatever. I don't care what you want to call it. It doesn't really matter to me. It doesn't make a difference. We're just gonna call this the observable universe, whatever. You got the little stars, or I don't know what you want to call them. You can call them stars, bird turds, whatever. The point still stands that this is all like reality existence in the universe. This universe is like 3D, right? We
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, obviously, in a timeline, you know, the universe changes because the idea of temporality is change. So the one temporal dimension makes it 4D as a result. Like the timeline becomes 4D. And this timeline has every change of the universe on every second. 0.1 second, 0.2 seconds, etc. all the way to infinity. So the uncountable infinity, as in decimals, and the countable infinities, which are the whole numbers we have. So all of this is accounted for in a general timeline. So when you destroy the timeline, that's why you're infinitely, greater than, universal, universe plus. I think what they did there is genius. I think it's really good. It's very simple, very easy to understand. Same thing with, infinite number of 4D. Say if this red line I'm drawing is like a 5D world, and we're just going to pretend all these, transparent blue dots are like 4D universes. Let's say there's an infinite amount of these into this little 5D space. You get the point. Infinite. That's 5D. Then you have an infinite number of these 5Ds. I don't know, in some whatever 6D space. We'll just use green, and then we'll use red again to kind of represent that. And then boom, 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 boom. I mean, if you want it, you can have it. Sorry, my wife's asking me a question. Same thing. You get the point. This is a 6D world. It holds an infinite number of 5D worlds. Now, just from 6D, this is low complex multiversal, but let me just say this. This multiverse is so darn big, most fiction actually cap at that. And people don't realize this. Like, I've learned about the Silver Sea with characters like Anos. I've learned about the Neutral Zone about Dragon Ball. I learned about Marvel and DC. And DC obviously goes way beyond this. But the point is, most verses in fiction don't really make it past this. And yes, that includes Yumi Neko. I know people are going to quote, what about that guy on Versus Battle who made the whole Yumi Neko thread? I've read the whole thread. It didn't change anything. It didn't change a thing. The only thing that it really told me is that it just helped me understand, okay, so that whole scan that Abraxas, by the way, the guy's name is Abraxas from old G Plus Rozwell, just in case you don't remember him. Abraxas, yeah, he made like a whole Yumi Neko respect thread for Featherin, really good, but at the same time used fan-made scans. And I get it. It's okay to it's okay to use a fan-made scan if it's truthful and gives citation. Like I'm actually going to make a fan-made scan for Dragon Ball's cosmology, similar to how they did for that Yumi Neko one, even though the Yumi Neko one's fake. But I'm going to do one for Dragon Ball, except I'm going to have citations on every single scan so people know where the source information comes from and where it's based off. But in this case, most fiction doesn't make it past 6D or 7D. Most of them don't. So the whole hyperverse thing is like people act like, oh, you said you only hyperversal, that's lowball. I'm like, bro, are you kidding me? Are you? Now,
like the very idea of reaching hyperversal to begin with is already complicated enough because you have to take way too many factors in. Just explaining like 5D and 16 alone, while it's easy, once you start hitting like hyperversal ranges, that's when you have to start worrying more about, okay, now this is where people are start saying, well, they have to be 7th, 8th, or 9th dimensional, which, those can essentially start just transcending certain concepts and start ignoring certain rules of reality and all the other kinds of craziness that comes with it. So it's a lot going into it.
Exactly.
That's why I never talk about it mostly.
Exactly. And I feel you on that. Like, I'm going to give another example for those of you who are following along. And let me just show this. Check out this. If you can see the screen, Roz, real quick. So let's say you go to 6D. Now let's jump all the way. Now we obviously know if you're a millionth dimensional, you're infinitely a millionth dimensional construct that's spatio-temporal, which is a special word we use, spatio-temporal, which means, complexity, universal complexity. A spatial temporal dimension like that is going to hold an infinite number of 999,999 dimensional constructs, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, until infinity. Here's the problem. Infinity is not even like a real number at that point, because it's a number, but it's not at the same time, because it's the pinnacle. What happens, now check this out. If you're looking at the stream, so we got an infinite we got, this is a hyperverse. We're going to call this a high hyperverse. All right, or whatever, however you spell it. So we got high hyperverse right here. Here's the thing. Now, like I just said, there's an infinite number of 5D worlds in a 6D world. Here's the thing about hyperverse that makes it scary. There are an infinite number of infinite dimensional hyperverse worlds inside of another infinite hyperverse, and the cycle repeats until an never ending infinity. So when you're at hyperverse plus and you say, oh, I go beyond dimensions, you already are, because you are transcending the transcending infinities that you've already transcended. I know that sounds weird because I'm using the word like multiple times, but to basically make it simple for the audience who's following, because I already know you get it, Roz, but for the audience who's following, when you are infinite dimensional, like I said, if let me paint it simple. If a 6D world holds infinite 5D worlds and if a 6D world holds infinite 5D worlds, a 7D world has infinite 6D worlds, and it keeps going into infinity. When you hit infinity, an infinite dimensional construct holds an infinite dimensional construct. It's hard to explain, but basically it's infinitely bigger than the previous infinity. So you see this infinity I have on screen, this infinity just surpassed that infinity, and that infinity is going to surpass the next infinity, and it will continue to go on because infinity doesn't have an end. There's no end. So in reality, high hyperverse level is really what Outerversal technically should be, as they're describing it. And at that point, when you're Outerversal, I would assert Outerverse level in this context, I would assert Outerverse level is when you could destroy all of existence, basically everything, to the point where you don't exist anymore. There's no space, there's no spatial dimensions. All right, no spatial dimensions, no temporal dimensions at that point. There is no waiting for this to happen, waiting for that. What needs to be waited to happen has happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know it's mind-boggling, but essentially when you break it down, it's like it doesn't even make, it doesn't make too much of a difference. Welcome, Andre. Welcome, Machi. Welcome to the stream.
Oh.
I'm glad you guys have joined us. We're just having a discussion about the whole Outerversal topic, and people overuse the term Outerversal too much. I think the term is way too overused on pretty much every fictional thing we're talking about. People want to throw that term around. Is this character Outerversal? But anyway. Oh yeah, it's annoying, but that's essentially the point. So, like we said, when you hit high hyperverse level, there's no point of going anything beyond, unless it's like, the only time Outerverse level matters is if you're author tier to a degree, or when you literally can move outside of existence itself. But moving outside of existence itself doesn't scale to the same as an infinite hierarchy that has transcended all of other possible existences on a complex level. Like, for example, remember Zeno, when he destroyed the timeline? There was nothing. There was no time. There was no space.
Not a single thing was left.
Exactly. So it was like, all right, well, Outerversal Zeno.
Like we just like, oh wow, look at that. There's nothing there.
Exactly, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, it's not a good look for scaling purposes now. But do you think it's time to move on to speed?
Yeah, we can. But didn't you, if I recall, you also wanted to discuss, things like, I believe, Like also the misconception such as like Quantum Superman, how people say he's Outerversal because of his whole
Oh,
yeah
you want me to do it to the people? All right, the
yeah.
people.
Let's
uh,
let's go into that real quick before we start moving into things like speed.
oh yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. All right. So first and foremost, oh yeah, Outerversal, exactly. Outerversal is like at a complex point where you can't really describe it. To be true Outerversal, Andre. Like if we're really, really, really breaking down the definition, to be true Outerversal, you gotta literally just say I don't exist. You gotta be like I don't exist. Everything that does exist is fodder to me. It's infinitely nothing, and I can move outside of it. Like, I agree Outerverse should exist as a term. It should exist as a level of scaling, as an order of magnitude for scaling. But at a certain point, it becomes redundant. I mean, you can't get any further than that. Hey, what's good, Zach? All right, let's move on to the Quantum Superman real quick. Oh. I think I would bring up I would bring up the site. I would bring up the site, but I don't want us to get bodied because you know how those websites be having those ads?
Oh yeah, this freak.
Yeah.
Those very
Yeah.
yeah, those ads are not fun. Can't even read a good comic or manga without those popping up.
Exactly. All right, let me see something. Hold on. My mouse said, F you, Atari. You suck at this game. So let me...
Oh, just...
All right, there we go. Mouse is working again. All right, so let me see. Quantum... All right, so before... I'm not even going to type... I'm going to put the scans on the screen. So I'm going to keep it simple. I'm not going to go too deep. But essentially... Quantum Superman, why do I say he's not Outerversal? Is first and foremost, Quantum Superman is not a character who can destroy an infinite subset of infinities that transcend the prior infinities of subset of infinities to an infinite degree. He ain't doing that. You probably have to rewind this video a couple times to understand what I said, but what I'm saying is he's not overcoming that. And when he said, oh, but about 8th dimensional? He's not 8th dimensional either. He was never 8th dimensional. I think people, including myself, misconstrued that. You see, people look at multiversity, and they take the Pax Americana scan. Let me put it on the stream. Look at this bad quality. It's terrible quality. Let's remove that. Gross. All right. Let's
Also, you're not the only one who's made that mistake. I've made it too because even I was like, man, Quantum Superman, he's a beast, man. He can solo a lot of people. God dang.
I know,
but,
right?
No.
And it's like, oh, this dude is crazy, and then you find out, yo, this dude sucks. No, I'm playing. All right, I wouldn't go that far, but you know what I'm saying. So let's talk about Quantumus Supermanus. So as you can see by this scan here, this is from Pax Americanus. This is from Multiversity Pax Americanus, which basically is a issue which Grant Morrison wrote that came out in 2014. This is the scan. I want y'all to pay close attention and follow along. On pages 12 and 13, I caught sight of a massless time-symmetrical boson. A Mobius loop curving through 8 dimensions. Interesting. Does anyone here know what a Mobius loop is? Yeah, I didn't think so. It's not like the chat can actually respond to me. I'm not going to give you guys the Dora the Explorer treatment. But to put it simply, a Mobius loop is, a figure 8. You know how Sonic's feet looks when he runs? Yeah. Think of that as a Mobius loop. Or just look it up. Look it up. And yes, boson is in some terms referring to dimensions. But the thing I have a problem with is I heard something knocking on the door to get in. And then this is the next point. Captain, this is Dr. McDougal in the control room. Can we put away the comic book, please? Literally. So what does that mean? He's talking to humans. He's not in the 8th dimension. Now let's continue. I'm thinking of. I'm thinking how our universe appears from a higher dimensional perspective. Flat. Captain, please concentrate. This is Professor Lyons. Commence particle acceleration. Are you ready? Literally. So what is that telling us, Roz?
He's not on those planes that these people are just so freaking. I'm sorry, I can't picture an eighth dimensional being just sitting there having a casual conversation with apparently freaking humans who could even stand in the presence of something like that. Let's just be honest. If
Not
we stood in the presence of something like that, you would die.
exactly. Like the fact is that they're like, what? Oh, hold on.
What are you talking about?
Yup. Oh, my bad, Zay. I didn't see your comment. Yeah, that's why you gotta have an ad block on deck. A lot of people overhype the power of Marvin D. I'm telling you, Zay, I appreciate you coming through, but yes, absolutely. They do that all the time. To finish up, it says here, oh, yeah, and people, by the way, Quantum Superman, or Captain Atom, by the way, is monologuing. All right? He says here, complete, yet always beginning and ending. Always different. The story's linear, but I can flip through the pages in any order or any direction. Forward in time to the conclusion. Back to the opening scene. The characters remain unaware of my scrutiny, but their thoughts are transparent, weightless in little clouds. This is how a two-dimensional continuum looks to you. Imagine how your 3D world appears to me. I had to add a little exaggeration to that because that line is still chilling. Even if he's not eighth dimensional, it's still chilling. And what he's saying is, obviously, this proves he's fourth dimensional. Plus, probably even more. Because the thing is, if you remember in 2008 from Final Crisis, he was the one who helped Cosmic Armor Superman come to be because he combined them after communicating with a higher dimensional level computer. So obviously, I'm not saying he's fodder at all. But I'm not going to say he's eighth dimensional, complex, multiverse, outerverse, monkey ball. I don't know what type of words these people are using. Like,
all right.
But, like, he's definitely a beast. Don't get me wrong. But, like, this is not a proof of an eighth dimension. This is just him talking to humans, telling them this is how a 3D world. So if you guys see a 2D world like this, your 3D world appears to me the same way. Because he could see their lifespan. He could see what's going to happen to them. Because if you remember the 4D vision that Superman had to unlock. In fact, people who think, in fact, yes. And I'm not attacking, your favorite Superman, but look here. 4D vision. Great Krypton. Like, literally. It's a 4D vision upgrade. He had to use that so he could see everything laid out on a grid. So in other words, this upgrade for Superman in Final Crisis is broken. Don't get me wrong. Like, if he fought Sasuke, well, obviously he beat Sasuke normally.
Don't even do that, man. Just putting Sasuke in his presence would be just way too much. Don't even do that. That's wrong.
Like,
you're wrong for that one.
Like, if he fought someone who had, like, infinite speed, it wouldn't really bother him too crazily, like on a 3D level, too much, because he has 4D vision. He knows, is like, all right, so you're going to do this and that and this, that, and this is how the battle's going to turn out, because I got 4D vision. I can already see what you're going to do to me, what you're trying to do to me. Basically, the ultimate, infinite clairvoyance. That's the best way to put it. He has an infinite Sharingan, basically, except it's Christmas colors. But the point still stands that Superman is absolutely a monster, and so is Captain Atom. But I just don't want to, like, exaggerate and say he's Outerversal and stuff. And I know people are like, oh, but Paul Jenkins, he said there's an infinite number of, infinities in each universe in DC. Yeah, you know what we say to that? Death of the author. And I think we talked about this before, Roz. Death of the author doesn't really occur for most artists or writers. But in this case, how many writers are there for DC? Exactly. How many writers are there for
what people don't understand? Currently, I have no idea, but if you just look at it over all the years, it's not consistent because of the fact there's so many writers. Every writer has a different interpretation. For one writer, Superman can be, Superman can be hyperversal according to one writer. Then the next writer gets the same character, and all of a sudden he's getting knocked out by, freaking planets smacking into him. So, It's not like when you have someone like, Kishimoto for Naruto or Toriyama for Dragon Ball, where these are one person, and then they have, their guidebooks or data books in which they could put in their input, in which, with the story and their input from their data books as well, that's coming from them directly. You can't say that's with the author if that's their full on intentions right there,
Yep.
unless it contradicts itself completely. But that's a whole other topic. But still,
Exactly.
like,
Like if we look at the
yeah.
oh, like for example, the term fifth dimension in DC. Look at this. Let's read what Mixie says, and keep in mind this is the more like recent stuff that's been happening. Back in the day, I gotta find the scan, but back in the day, you remember when like they say after the fourth dimension comes the fifth dimension? Like Mixie was literally only like literal 5D. Like it wasn't like no imagination added on top of that back in the earlier days. They started doing that now and changing the meaning of the fifth dimension. Because he says let me pull up both scans. So in this scan, he's saying, "Behold, the multiverse as you live it, puny heads, exists in 4 dimensions. Now add imagination, which exists outside of time, and poof, ta-da! It's everything at once existing backward and forward simultaneously. Imagination is the blood of the universe, the energy that flows between the realms, until you nitwits broke the source wall. But there's a sixth realm at the very tip top. Everything closed off to but the most powerful beings, like the multiverse penthouse." But like basically speaking, that goes to show that all of DC is like under time, but there are higher levels. Like that, it's kind of complex to describe it. But I mean, because there's like 180,000 dimensional snowflake, but that's more of a geometrical shape than an actual like spatial temporal complexity. But it still goes to show. He
Exactly.
says, "Look, look. The stupid first dimension is just a stupid point. Boop. The second is a line. Boring. The third, well, it's material stuff. The fourth is the tick tock time. But the fifth is imagination. It's everywhere at once. You see, you just can't see it. If you could." So basically, it's imagination. That's what they changed the fifth dimension, because we don't know what the fifth dimension is. We really don't. Reality. So
No.
DC's taking their own take on the fifth dimension. It's like, what that means is out of Earth. No, it's not, stupid. I mean, it definitely isn't any lower than high multiversal, but it's still like obviously like I mean I can argue it's a low complex multiverse structure because the whole metaverse scan, how every instant there's an infinite number of new possibilities being created for any universe and any point, and then outside of that has the what was that thing called? I think there was like a infinite subset of the other dimensions inside the hypertime. Like hypertime's the timeline of the multiverse. So obviously speaking, like fifth dimensional, they're like really like seventh dimensional versus battle standards or higher. But like I ain't gonna sit there and be like Outerversal. Yep.
No, you're Outerversal now for reading someone else's like biography or autobiography. You're Outerversal now. Sorry, how does it make you feel?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe I can up tilt them with Snake. Like, I don't know, man. People are all over the place with this stuff. But anyway, you guys get it. So I guess that's the point I was just trying to bring across. I mean, I said the same thing with Cosmic Armor Superman. It's kind of overblown. Like I said, Cosmic Armor Superman definitely could be Outerverse. Oh, no, he can't. But he definitely can be high. He could definitely be Hyperversal, up there. Really, really up there. But given the implications that the story is trying to say, well, Perpetua is stronger, and it's like, well, no, she's not. She's not stronger than the probe that was doing research on her sons. Like, it's hard to debate because, you know, I don't want to give a comparison, but DC is like almost talking about the Bible at this point because you got two. And the difference is the scripture has an obvious, like an absolute interpretation, but you know, with DC, it's made by man. Inconsistent man. So there is no interpretation with these guys. I mean, pardon me. There is multiple interpretations with these guys. It's like all over the place. It's Outerversal, Innerversal, your versal, my versal. I don't care. I don't even know anymore.
Microversal. Let's just go. Let's just make up anything and put versal at the end of it, and that should sound impressive.
Yep. Poopyversal, omniversal, and nullversal. Like, what the heck are you talking about? It's a null verse. If it's a null verse, then it's not a verse. Why? Because
it knows itself.
Well, it's the null. I mean, you could call it that, sure. Because I was gonna say, like, verse means a segment, and your point. How is it a null verse if it it doesn't exist? If it doesn't exist, it's not a verse. It can't be one.
Oh yeah, so I got a question. Someone asked if
Oh,
is there anyone in Dragon Ball who is Outerversal in canon?
I'm gonna be honest. Sorry, is my mic still good?
It cuts out like here and there, but for the most part, you're good.
All right, yeah, it's because the stream is kind of like, yo, your resolution's too high, bro. You gotta lower it. So,
Yeah.
how strong do you think God Fusion 40 Goku is? I'll talk about that in just a bit. Hey, what's up, Snag? And what's up, Winged Dragon? Finally made it. Good work, gentlemen. This is my post gym cooldown. On that note, is anyone in Dragon Ball who's out of versus canon? Heck no. Nope. I mean, no. As far as like attack potency go, no, not even close. No. And I don't think there's a lot. And trust me, there's a lot of fictional characters who don't fit the bill. Thank you. The mic is good. I mean, there's a lot of fictional characters who don't fit that bill, Ross. You know what I mean? Like, you know how many characters people say, what about this guy? He's out of Versal, right? And like, no, there's a lot of characters who are out of Versal. Yeah,
Freaking Reinhardt, Umineko,
Reinhardt,
Quantum Superman. Apparently, freaking. There's a whole list. There shouldn't be, but there's a whole list of people who are Outerversal in fiction now.
I know. Like, I can respect Featherin because she's the author of Umineko, almost, essentially. That makes sense. She's actually in the tier. And it's like, can I compare Xeno Goku to her? Yes, because Xeno Goku also moved outside of fiction. So, yeah, like Beyonders, Goku, Featherin, Lucifer Morningstar, multiple characters I can name, but nobody in Daizere that I'm aware of is at that level. And I've read a bit of it, saw the visual novel, I've seen the bigger scans. No, they're not. I've even looked at the scan with the Taigoku. It's actually just a poetic Grant Morrison style of writing to describe something that just goes beyond the concept of reality. That's it. It's not really something that implies it goes to higher spatial, temporal, subsequent other concepts or something crazier. No. Xenogoku should be stronger than 40 God Fusion. Goku seen as in Dragon Ball Heroes, you fight God Broly. And yeah, you do. You do, Ballistic. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say he's stronger because the thing about God Fusion is God Fusion, like some random Japanese woman slapped Broly with the Kamehameha one shot. She don't fight. She ain't no fighter. She had a dress on. But the fact is, she's a human, so she's way beyond fiction. So she clapped him one shot. So I mean, I wouldn't say Xenogoku's gonna fight that girl unless she takes place in Beats World. And if that's the case, and Beats World is representation of our world, then yeah, I don't know. Goku would need to be nerfed in. He'd probably be banned from battles at that point. That's like using that guy from SNK who's trying to grab the gamer into the game, you know who
Kukri, that's his name.
Yeah,
Kukri,
dude, yeah, and King of Fighters, and aren't there characters like Orochi scales to him as well as Psyche, right?
Orochi scales above him.
Yeah, bro. So composite Orochi is gonna say, "Oh, you playing again? I'm about to reach out and murder you." Like
pretty much,
because you got
pretty much. That's exactly what happens.
Yeah, so like Cosmic Armor ain't the only character who's like, I can feel there's someone breathing in this comic book. Their breath is knocking, bro. like he could, because you've seen the scan, right? Like how he actually reaches outside of the comic, which is actually interesting, and then he reaches to Limbo. So I do believe, and people think when I say Cosmic Armor only has 4D vision and all that, I'm like, guys, no. I'm saying he has 4D vision as in he has temporal vision. Like exactly. That's why I even said when I had him versus the Grand Prix, I'm like, if he fought the Grand Prix, it would be tough for the Grand Prix. Because he could see where the Grand Priest would dodge before he dodges, because he sees all time laid out. But the Grand Priest at the same time, he's at infinite speed. So Superman might just, I could see the future. Oh, really? I already see the end of this fight. The end of it? Yeah, it doesn't end. Wait, why? Because I never hit you. Oh. That's
I can't
exactly.
get a hit in. I can't even touch you. There's no point. I'm just gonna sit here and just try to survive. That's all I can do.
And it's not like quantum. And the thing is about cosmic armor. Cosmic armor gets injured. Cosmic armor gets tired. Cosmic armor has to breathe because we see it happen. So no, like stop it. Like he could still get hurt. He could still get murked by a stronger character. And yes, force
Exactly.
and yes, force spirit fission, sports whatever. Force spirit fission will definitely work on him. It's like, oh, it won't work on it. Yes, it will. It's a fusion. They literally defused after they beat Mandrake, so shut up. It's a fusion. It's a fusion. No matter how much you try to say it's not, it's a fusion. And it can get beat by that. So if Vegeta lands one hit on him, he wins. And separates him and embodies Ultraman and regular Superman. I mean, obviously Vegeta won't because they'd be able to see all his attacks come because the 4D vision. I'm not. Don't get me wrong, guys. I'm not sleeping on him. But yeah. But let me read the comment. Let me read the
Just make
comments.
Xeno Vegeta with Spearfishing. There you go.
Oh no, that's broken now because he fused with Zalama. So I don't know, man. I I honestly, Roz, I honestly think Dragon Ball Heroes is meant to be this obscene, stupid, crazy story where everyone is just too strong to beat.
I mean, you've read them, you've seen the manga stuff. Just a casual character, freaking Hercule in Dragon Ball Heroes is at like a multiversal threat at some point. So I mean,
True. And the fact that
yeah,
remember I told you that Xenogoku can destroy like an infinite set of this and that and this and that and like pretty much the Dragon Ball. You guys know how big the Dragon Ball verse is. Imagine Xenogoku can destroy it infinite times over, and then he could transcend that to the crack of time, which is also infinitely above that, and then he could go to Beats World, infinitely above all of that, treats it like fiction, and Beerus is just like, oh yeah, you're pretty strong. All right, I'm gonna just finger flick you and knock you out in one shot. Like, what?
oh man.
All right, let me read the comments because we got a lot. We got a lot. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the stream. Dang man, they got 16 views. I ain't even expect that. All right, let's see here. All right, let's see here. Thanks for the honesty and shout out. Yeah, you're welcome, Wing Dragon. Welcome. Thank you again. And what about any hyperversal canon in Dragon Ball? I do think there is a low hyperversal possibility for the Grand Priest, but that's at a high end interpretation. So when you scale in Hunter x Hunter, Alexander Brown. All right, so I may do Hunter x Hunter later on, but right now I just gotta wait for the hiatus to chill out so I can get some consistency because as it stands right now, Hunter x Hunter is really difficult to give some consistent scaling on. But I also like Hunter x Hunter. It's probably one of the best written stories. They don't need to be like, or they're continental. They don't need to be continental to be strong. They could still do really well with hacks. All right, let's see here. But I am going to possibly do it in the future. Kingdom Hearts fan at 999. Where would you place the Yumi Neko witches besides Feather and High Hyper? All right, so I'm gonna keep it real with you, Kingdom Hearts fan. Heck to the no. I am not putting Beatrice, Burkenstell, or Lambda Delta in any of those tiers. But the reason I don't do any of that is because when I reanalyzed the entire Yumineko cosmology, I analyzed it from Ryoshi, I think it's Ryoshi 007 or Ryoshi 07, and looking at his interview and the comments and multiple different forums from other sites that are not even the Versus Battle Wiki, the amount of misinformation they pass on about Yumineko is annoying. Because it's hard to get some truth. I remember I was on Comic Vine. I used the scan, and it was like, that's a fan made scan, right? I'm like, oh well, what about this one? It's like, that's not even from Yumineko. I'm like, I mean, yeah, it's still approved by Ryokishi, but it's still like, it's the equivalent of saying it's the equivalent of using the Bayonetta verse to scale to the Devil May Cry verse. It's not really something I would recommend doing because they're still not connected. Or it's like saying Dragon Ball scales to Raleigh, and it's like, no. Not really. Yes and no. So I wouldn't really do that. So as far as like the Yumi Neko verse goes, I do think they're definitely up there, but I don't think they're like in any hyperversal ranges just based on what I was reading and understanding from the actual games. And by the way, the person, you know who you are if you're watching the stream. You gave me the misinformation of Yumi Neko, and you made me go on that website. You made me go to people and say, "Oh yeah, this character ain't that strong," and all that, or this character is this strong, and then they are like, "Oh, that's fan made." I'm like, bro, yeah, they just called me out and said that's fan made. It's like, "Oh, I don't deal with comic vine." I'm like, that's not a debunk. That's not a rhetoric. Saying you don't deal with comic vine invaders don't mean the fact that that I ain't just get embarrassed because you passed on just misinformation to me, which is why I mostly do my own research now. Sorry, Roz, I kind of went off the deep end there.
Oh no, it's all good. Listen, you're reading your comments, man. Reading the replies. I'm gonna let you do it.
Yep, I'm gonna just say this: Lambda Delta, based on the scan I've seen with Jadis and the whole mirror world. Like, for example, in Yumi Neko, they said, "Oh, there's a whole mirror world," and I'll explain this to you, Roz. Basically, there's an infinite amount of universes in the multiverse, right? And it's 4D, blah blah blah, the basic stuff, right? But every universe, every planet, every area that has a mirror, there's an entire mirror world in there, infinite. But the problem is it sucks. You know why? Because the mirror world it's not like it's a 3.5 dimensional plane or anything. No, it's just a separate dimension. That's it. So at that point, it's like, all right, so sorry about that, guys. At that point, it's like, all right, so we got an infinite number of universes and then an infinite number of mirror universes. So it kind of falls back to the whole, it's technically still infinity. It doesn't transcend. So it's kind of useless. You know what I mean? So it doesn't really help out that much, but it's still very impressive. I mean, I'll put it this way. If you compared it to a regular infinite universes to another you compared it to an average 5D world, I would say it's a bigger 5D world because it has to account for those mirror worlds. I would say that, but I wouldn't say it would be something I call 6D. Not yet. No, not necessarily.
Yeah. Not quite there yet. There's still some factors I need to go and split before.
Yeah, I think the proper terminology would be 5D plus. So, but Jada scales to 5D in Yumi Neko. And we know in Yumi Neko, if you're a 3D being, you're infinitely above the lower beings. The thing is about Lambda Delta and Burkan style, I would say they're in the more upper complex multiverse ranges, just from what I've seen. But yeah, that has to do with them. And I'm just going to say this. I'm just going to say that for them. Now, that's where I place them at Yumi Neko. Other than Feathering, in my opinion, is just on a whole nother level. I don't even think she deserves to be in the series. That she's busted. Have you seen what she can do, Roz?
I think you did show me actually, I think you did send me this scan. What was it that whole transcending freaking? What was it I can't remember what it was. I think you sent me a scan. I can check, but
Feather will still get bodied by Xenogoku. No, I'm just playing. No, I'm just trying to bother people right now. But all right, enough joking around. Let's get to more serious matters. All right, so obviously speaking, all right, so we obviously know that when it comes to the whole fictional verse and all that stuff, it really comes down to just understanding the entirety of the verse and what it means to be at that level. And that's really all I would say to that. I wouldn't say anything else more.
pretty much. Just it depends on that fiction, yeah.
Yeah, every fiction's going to scale differently, so. Bro, I just had to draw a Feather and she's irritated. She's done. She's done with this stream. All right, so let's move on to the next topic. But before I do, let me just finish up the comments. Are Celestiala from Marvel Outerversal? No, I wouldn't say they are. Anything above Multiversal Plus, that just sounds like Multiversal with extra steps. Mr. Hazama, thank you. I know I'm reading your comment late, but thank you. Thank you so much. That's exactly what I was looking for. Anything, it's just Multiverse Plus with extra steps. That's it. That's it. I mean, granted, it still matters. Hyperverse still matters. But anything else, like outside of high Hyperverse Plus, like, where do you go from there? You don't go anywhere else, you know? All right. And that's just fourth wall breaking. Exactly, Zay. And let's see, it's Heart streaming again. Hey, what's going on, Sunny D? Welcome. All right, Machi's Normie. All right, imagine Xenogoku telling Capsule Goku that they exist in a fictional world that transcends reality to become the ultimate real fiction. That would be interesting. Would Perpetua be in the top 10 strongest being in DC? Braxton? Michael Braxton? No, she would not. As much as I want to say she would be, she would not. I mean, she could be technically, but she's not at the same time. And it has more so to do with just the way the other characters that exist before her are. Like Michael, the higher ends of the Spectra when he fought Michael Demigros, Gabriel, Lucifer Morningstar, and the Endless, Elaine. You remember Elaine, right, Roz? That little child.
Vaguely. Oh yeah, Elaine. Okay, yep, I remember.
Yeah, they gave her like the power of the presence or something like that because he went on vacation or something.
Yeah, just for some, yeah, give like godly powers to a child. That's not gonna go wrong whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Xeno.
Yeah. All right, see DVD Heroes.
Xeno.
What do you think about Jump Force Prometheus power scaling? That I would say is Outerversal ballistic because we're going outside of the fiction. We're going outside of it. And keep in mind, we're talking about compository fiction. So we're going beyond JoJo. We're going beyond, Hikaru no Go. I don't know why I brought up Hikaru no Go. That's just a Go game, a board game. But you get the point. We're going beyond any other shonen. All right. DBH Capsule Goku still scales above UI. Yeah, he does scale above Ultra Instinct. I don't know what's wrong with Dragon Ball Heroes, man. They're on something, dude. Ugh.
Dragon Ball is just steroids. That's all it is. It's just the entire series on steroids, crack, meth, anything you can think of. It's just on that drug.
Exactly. Oh, Dark Schneider. LB, thank you. Let me bring it up the scan. Hold on. Bastard Dark Schneider.
Good.
Let's talk about Dark Schneider real quick because I think he's highly, highly underestimated. I was going to say underestimated. All right, so first off, I think Dark Schneider is way stronger than people think he is. He's very galaxy level, he's and yes, they actually talk like that. All right, so here's the problem. First, you're going to have people look at this scan and be like, all right, it has the power equal to that of a black hole. All right. And as you can see, if we continue to read the scan further, it says its force of attraction is infinite, and it doesn't stop absorbing any power, and that gets near it. It is also known as the Black Abyss. Jewel itself is only a small crack in time and space, but with the power it contains, it has enough power to destroy an entire galaxy. Anyone who has this jewel as their disposition will turn into a real destroyer of worlds. Also, it is important to mention, and real destroyer of worlds refer to not just the people, they're talking about planets. Bro, we just said we can destroy a galaxy. You think they're really going to downplay it back to planets? That's like me saying, oh, Roz, he's amazing. He's one of the fastest beings in reality. He can go beyond the speed of light, and he'll start and is like, and anyone who possesses speed like him will break sound barriers. Like, does that make sense? That doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense at all. I know that would be so inconsistent. That's like DC Marvel Comics level inconsistency if someone did that in their story.
Exactly.
That would be all bad.
Exactly. Shut up, dog. Okay. I'm sorry. I love you. Come here. All right. He's mad. He's mad at the door. People are coming in the house. Sorry, streamers. Anyone, rest in peace, ears. But LB, to answer your question about Dark Schneider, I think Dark Schneider is a very powerful character. Very powerful. And they follow what we call casual body and ego. So what that means is they follow spiritual dimensional tiering, which is, in my opinion, even greater than spatial temporal dimensions. And to give you an idea of that, people think, and they'll take the scans and then they'll just go with the punches. Like, oh, that's it. That's how strong as he is. That's it. He can't get any stronger than that. But then you think about it, and it's like, they have other planes of existence, and you'll see this very common in fiction. Dragon Ball's not the only fiction that believes higher spiritual realms are a higher dimension. Roz, didn't you also say that? What was it? Yeah, we spoke on that. Nakaruru also is in a higher dimension by existing astrally, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She and the crap. Let me get my thoughts together. My bad. Okay, so her literal existence in her spirit form is on a higher dimensional plane to the point where it actually just distorts space and time. It causes noticeable changes to space and time
Yeah,
itself.
Xanadu was the one who pointed it out, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know
No
if
one
it
else could see it, but he could.
exactly. And then it just comes to the point where it's like, all right, so that's very clear. So let me pull out that scan. Let me see here. Buddha plane. Yeah, here we go. All right, so this is from the actual series Bastard. All right, so let me show you guys. So I want you guys. Oh, that's too small. That's too small, SpongeBob. All right, hold on, guys. Let me grab a actual scan of the image. All right, let's see here. All right, so let me go ahead and introduce this on the stream. And LB, this is exactly what I was talking about. So this is a very big thing. It's occupying me and Roz's avatar on the stream, but that's okay. I want you guys to see this, and I want you to understand a couple things. So I'm just going to breeze read it, but it basically says the physical body and the spiritual body and soul. It's used to be said that humans consist of three components: the body, the mind, and the spirit. Dragon Ball has the same concept, and a KOF too. Or SNK does, Samurai Showdown specifically. Generally speaking, it could be said that the form of the human individual soul and wears the spirit beneath with the body above. Furthermore, strictly speaking, we can classify in those details three components even further. And it says construct of various classifications according to the Madame Blavatsky, Blavatsky and Alice A. Bailey, which is real people. And although the universe is composed of several structures, even in Kabbalah and Indian Mikyo, there are many other classification systems within the class. It is possible to further split them into subdivisions, and in practical terms, it seems like a good idea to consider the differences of the classifying in a larger scale of levels that correspond to the oscillation and frequency bands of the indefinite close fundamentals. So, in yoga, Shinto Buddhism, theosophy, and other various religions and cults of the world, there are various theories about the structure and physical of the body. So, yes, transcendental fits here perfectly. I'm not going to read everything because it's just going to take a long time. I don't want to bore you guys, but YouTube, you better not ban me. This is because this is human anatomy, all right, and education. So let me just lower that.
Yes, this is education. I'm teaching in here, not doing anything else.
Exactly.
Oh shoot.
But yeah, let me see here. So basically, to give you guys the breakdown, as you can see, you have the materia plane, the astral plane. All right, so what this is saying is that in E. Powell's book, The Casual Body and Ego, we exist as materialistic beings. Atoms, quantum atoms, subatoms, that's all material. Astral is not quantifiable, normally speaking. It's like spiritual. Mental is like the concept of the consciousness. You know Mr. Mixie and his whole imagination? Yeah, imagine that. That's also their fifth dimension, in a sense. And then you got the Buddhist plane, which is like a level of enlightenment. Oh, that's way higher. And then you have the Atma, the Monad, and the Ether plane, which basically, and keep in mind, this follows concepts of multiple different religions. So, yeah, this is Bastard is a very slept on series, Roz. I'm pretty sure you probably know that too, but like they're slept on, especially because they actually have the archangel from the actual Bible, Michael, and they say he exists on the highest plane of existence.
Yeah. I think I've read like I think I've read like a volume or two of it like way back in the day, but that was so long ago. I've mostly forgotten a whole lot about the series. I only remember some of the basics, and some of the more insane feats that the guy could pull off.
Exactly. So like, and the thing is, people think I'm like, are you guys seriously telling me you don't believe these guys are in a like a higher complex multiverse level? And it's like, oh, but they're not because they only have a universe. I'm like, yeah. And if I go by the scripture, heaven itself is an outerversal construct because it's the embodiment of the Most High God Himself. So I mean, yeah, let's not go there. But it literally says the angel known as Archangel Michael or Mekiala. In Islamic faith, it is the ultimate and most powerful warrior within the highest dimension, heaven, where the most exalt presence, God, exists. He is an angel of the fifth order that leads the Medites, leads the Medites out of punishment of lesser orders than the angels Michael, etc., etc. I mean, this right here already show you that he's at a higher plane of existence. So at this point, why would you assume he's like, oh, he's only a galaxy buster, man? Like, he's nothing more than that.
Exactly.
Like, he would, like, it's literally based on the Islamic faith. I mean, look, anyone in the stream of Islamic faith, just say inshallah, or just tell me that for a fact that we're talking about Michael from the Islamic or the biblical Christianity faith. Either one would solo these fictions. So I mean, if I really want to get technical, I could just say he's Outerversal because in the Book of Enoch, Michael has reign over chaos itself. So yeah, let's not go there though. People gonna be like, "Hey, you're wanking, man. You're wanking." And if I recall dark, all right. So let me just read the rest of it. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Wasn't there a
we love it
hyperspace?
when you do.
Oh yeah. Wasn't there a hyperspace in the Yu Yu Hakusho sense we would be above? Yes. Well, he wouldn't be above the hyperspace. He could just travel through it, but he can't destroy it. The meta and arguments are crazy for Yumineko. I see many say outer, hyper, and some lowball to multiverse. Thanks for answering my Yumineko question in detail. You're welcome, Kingdom Hearts fan. And like I said, I'm just gonna reiterate this again. Featherin, Outerversal for sure. She's the author. But based on the world fragmency and such, I would say that Lambda Delta and Berkhanstel are in the mid to higher complex multiverse levels. Very possible to argue low hyperversal, but I don't really see anything beyond that because there's nothing that gives us enough information to assert that they've transcended the infinite hierarchy of the prior numbers. But Featherin, she does because she doesn't care. And if she wants, she could just write it so that Lambda Delta is at Outerversal if she wanted to because she's above everything. She's literally the Beyonder of Yumineko. Kinda. Just not as broken. All right, let's see here. Featherin is done with you. What is the stream about? I hope I'm not too late. Yep, sorry. I'm just kind of breezing through. All right, let me keep up. Yeah, Zay, you need to give me some of that Chick-fil-A. Hey, that rhymes, bars, bro. And you can scale Funny Valentine with a guy that says he transcends dimensions. Exactly. And the thing is, like, transcend dimensions has two meanings because you have three meanings because dimension means to measure. What are you transcending? If you transcend the measurement of like space, all right, cool. What about temporal dimensions now? What about spatial temporal complexities? That's when we start getting into confusion because the difference between a geometrical shape, like for example, guys, if you guys are looking right now, and I'm sorry, Roz, I'm taking up most of the mic time.
Oh no, it's all good, man.
You got a line. All right, so we got 0D, 1D, 2D, which is like, all right. Now what happens if I take this line and I add depth to it? 3D. All right, very simple. All right, now this is a. I know you're probably gonna look at me weird, Roz, for being able to draw a 4D line, but I was a nerd at this stuff, so a 4D line or a 4D object. So this is like a tesseract, but like basically the idea is it's hypothetically a 4D object. So this is like a shape, like a material, like a surface. In Yumi Neko, a 2D shape Mangier sponge is infinitely smaller. It's absolutely nothing to a three-dimensional object of the smallest degree. So Yumi Neko does believe in infinite hierarchies in that sense. But like for other places like Marvel and DC, or mainly DC, it's hard to differentiate because they treat the fifth dimension as imagination. Whereas the 180,000th dimensional geometrical shape you see with the snowflake, that's not really treated the same. DC higher dimension. Let me see. I'll pull that scan up real quick so people could see and make sure I'm not making stuff up. So there you have it. Right here. The shape of reality, a theoretical snowflake existing in 100. Oh, dang. It's way more than that. Jeez. 196,833 dimensional space. So they use the term space because they're obviously saying it is spatial, but it doesn't have temporality into it. So we can't really count it as a hyperverse type of structure, technically. It's more so just a hyperverse shape, but it's not infinitely beyond the prior. It's just more complexly shaped, which is different between a spatial temporal dimension, I should say. That is the difference between them. But
Yeah.
again, there is a high-end argument for that to say it's hyperversal. So I'm not denying the high-end argument. I'm just saying, logically speaking, based on what Mixie said, that would be the case. And that's why we have confusion with DC. So let's continue. So we're already an hour in.
Yeah.
Let's
I think we were gonna discuss speed and stuff like that as well. So
yeah, let's move on to speed. So I'm gonna draw it out. All right. So
good.
let me keep the drawing more simple. I know people's gonna be like, "Oh, nice drawing." All right. Let me actually draw more simplistically. Actually. So we're gonna take. So you can talk if you want, Roz, and explain to them what I was going to, because I'm gonna be doing an image example.
Oh, I was reading through the chat. End up laughing over here because Alexander Brown's like low tier god over Feathering.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Nah, that's cap. Low tier god bodies Umineko. Okay, well we're hitting meme territory now.
Look, man, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you. This that's Nick. It's not doing anything to me. She is obviously. I mean, like no. This hold on. Let me pull off a low tier god real quick. Hold on. And low tier god, this is not disrespect. I mean, I'm just saying it's kind of funny how you be dissing people though. But if he does see this, hold on.
I mean, anytime anyone says his name, he just pops up out of nowhere. So let's be honest. Let's be honest on that one.
It's funny though. Like this is he's gonna be like this. Hold on. Let me take her actual official artwork from the game. Let me take her official artwork from the game. All right. Let me see if I can.
Oh man.
If the program lets me. Let me see if I can grab a picture of Feathering.
Let's see.
Because I have some of her.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna use this one. Yeah, I'm gonna use the one from their official game. This is gonna be great. This is going to be special. I can feel it. All right. Let's see here. Yeah, this right here. This is a low tier god moment. Hold on. See, it was going to be funny, but then now it's taking forever because the computer sucks.
Hey, that's my computer at times, man.
Oh wait, that's why it didn't save as an image file.
Let me see.
All right, I got now. Now
Uh,
I got it. Now it's gonna upload. Yeah, as you can see, my program just kind of said. See, he'll put her on screen and be like, all right, all right, chat. So we're gonna talk real quick about this E girl, so-called wannabe multiverse destroyer. First of all, your edges are fucked up. You ain't got no edges. I can't do it with a straight face. That's how you know. That's how he'll be. He'll be like,
it,
first off, I don't know what. First off, you painting, you dyeing your hair unnatural colors. You're wearing this outfit with this military shirt. This don't even go together. You got no sense of fashion, no style. You're whack. You who the hell? Who in there right? What kind of nigga wears a dang memory device on it? What you got, Alzheimer's? That's how you know he'll roast her like that.
no, you can, and you can't forget the obligatory, hey, I got your mom's over here at my house, come talk to me after got finished. You can't forget the obligatory, always bringing up someone's mom, you know.
Feather would be like, learn your place. Yeah, I'm gonna learn my place. I'm gonna learn my place in your mom's steaming hot
Yes.
with my peanut butter complexion.
With my thick and my flexing muscles, that can just body anyone. So I'm like, bro.
Just put the giant BBC. He'd be like, this girl is garbage.
What's your consequent personality?
Oh man.
Oh man. Oh god dang, I could get one on that one.
Oh man, that's definitely how he will roast her.
It really would. It really would. That's true to him.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right, everyone. So the next one, I'm gonna do this real quick.
Someone called you drawing Angel Jimmy Neutron.
Angel Jimmy Neutron.
Dang, his brain blast is gonna be freaking deadly on that one. His brain blast might destroy
Yeah.
the universe.
Remember Jimmy Neutron actually took his teachers to hyperspace.
Yeah, I remember that. Freaking Jimmy, God, Jimmy's technology, man. His adventures put him at some freaking high tiers. Like,
All right, so I'm not gonna go too deep.
man.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go too detailed on Whis, as you could tell. I'm just gonna keep it simple. So let's say if Whis can move at, I don't care. This is just gonna be a really basic. We're not using Whis anymore. I quit. We're gonna use someone else.
I quit.
I just realized how fast this dude is, and I'm like, I'm not gonna do that.
No. We didn't react to the instant transmission. He was already out of the way before it even happened. He didn't move. You can clearly see it in the movie. Yeah, the movie completely contradicts their whole argument, where he completely moved out of the way.
Exactly. All right, so I have a chibi version of Kyo, and
oh my god,
yeah, so I have a chibi version of Kyo, and just for giggles, I'm going to do I suppose a chibi version of Itachi. Why? Because their hairstyles. That's why.
Oh, all right. Well,
all right. So we have.
Can't draw canola though. Go ahead.
All right, so we have both of these guys. Right now, here's the example of immeasurable speed. So a lot of people don't understand that immeasurable speed is actually just a term we use. When we say immeasurable, it means it can't be measured. That just means that when a character like Itachi is doing his thing, I mean, not Itachi, this is Kyo. Let me make sure I draw his jacket so y'all get the memo. All right, cool. All right, so this is Kyo, right? From King of Fighters.
Yeah.
Itachi. So here's the thing. Let's say Itachi can move at 7 times faster than light, which I think that's a pretty fair assessment. Let's say Kyo moves, and I'm just gonna lowball it, 1,000 times faster than light. I know people's gonna be in the comment like, wait, what? 1,000? That's a low ball? Like, yes, it's a low ball. But let's say Kyo moves that this fast, right? And don't get me wrong, I love Itachi, but I'm saying if these guys fought Kyo speed blitz, he breaks his ankles, right?
Breaks more than that.
Oh man. All right, so basically to give you guys an understanding is that if Kyo and Itachi actually went at it, Kyo would win in a normal battle. But here's the thing. This is probably something that will happen if they fought. As you can see on the stream right there. This is exactly what will happen. So, in this case, I'm willing to say that Kyo wins. Easy. But what happens if Itachi transcends to 5D or outside of time? Now his speed is immeasurable. Or infinite. But infinite to who is the question? Infinite to 3D. That's it. Because otherwise, it's not much. Now, Itachi is now going to break Kyo into to like a pixie stick. Because he's way faster than Kyo now. Kyo can't even perceive him at this. I mean, Roz, don't worry. I know Kyo can sense astral beings who transcend time, but let's just bear with it for now.
Okay, listen, I'm not like to the level of like who are like Seth or Chuck, where they hear something like that, they're like, now hold on a second, I'm not like that. No, just
Okay.
oh no, trust me. I get it. I'm the KOF guy on your stream, but I don't get that salty.
Yeah. So basically, that would actually be what happened. Like, so Itachi now has transcended to 5D. He wins. Here's the problem. If I make Kyo 5D, the common mistake is people say, "Oh, they're equal." Wrong. They're not. Because Kyo's 1,000 times faster than light still carries over. So guess what? He's going to break Itachi's ankles again, and it's going to be the same dang type of battle. So when I drew Whis earlier, Whis is even worse because Whis can already move nigh infinite speed in a 3D environment, and he could just carry that speed over if he transcends to a higher realm. Because the reason why you would be immeasurable is because in a 5D world, you have a higher range of motion. So instead of being a 4D type of object like I drew earlier, as you guys remember. So remember this little shape, 4D shape object. I know this is terrible, but you guys get the point. Remember this 4D shape object I drew earlier? Yeah, the whole point is even if you use this 4D shape object, it doesn't matter. The whole point is you have a different range of motion. You could, pardon me, you can move in an area where your opponent can't. And as a result, that gives you the advantage. So when it comes to immeasurable speed, I think people overestimate it too much, right, Roz?
Yeah, immeasurable speed. You know, I believe we actually talked about that. I believe earlier. You know, infinite speeds, measurable speeds, irrelevant. Okay, irrelevant. You know, that speaks for itself. He does not matter to you. You're at that point. You're above the concept of space, time, anything that can deal with speed. That means jack to you. You laugh at that.
Exactly.
when you hit like those immeasurable speeds, where it just simply means you can't be measured, whether it be by dimensional boundaries here, like right here. Someone being 4D and the other person being 5D, that automatic that puts on a different level of speed than the other can fathom. But I mean, it's basic infinite speed traveling across infinite 3D space or time. It's really not that complex. Even if I
Exactly.
were to break it down to a much more basic level, it's really not that complex. We, for God's sake, we. I'm pretty sure most of everyone here saw the video. We can react to instant. That speaks for itself. That's infinite speed. God knows how much faster it could actually be. I'm not
Man,
even
now
trying to
that you
argue
brought,
that one.
man, why'd you have to
But
bring that up? Because now I'm gonna have to go in now. Because now I'm gonna,
but
no, I'm pulling it up now. Because you
not
brought,
not. I'll let you pull it up. But But I'm gonna bring up more. Whis with his staff, or even probably without it, but with his staff, we see this man travel between freaking universes, traveling through the neutral zone and all this other kind of stuff, just casually, like it's really nothing. Oh, it's just gonna take a little bit of time. No big deal,
Little
Lord
Caesars are
Beerus.
crazy,
But
Kelsey.
just kind of freaking. You can't measure that. You can't calculate how fast he'd be moving in that case because he's just moving.
exactly.
That's way beyond our comprehension. It's not irrelevant, but that is extremely immeasurable. You can't measure that.
E-
You can't touch it.
exactly. And then you got this. Exactly. Thank you. Well put. So as you guys could see here, I'm gonna rate this down real quick. And yeah, Andre, I don't know what to say about that. Beyond the Flash is faster than Beyonder. The
Wait,
Beyonder
what?
doesn't have speed. It just happens because he wants it to. Like he doesn't care. If he says, speed is no longer a thing, distance doesn't exist, and spatial dimensions are removed out of existence, then it happens. Like he could literally say, oh, you have speed, infinite speed? Yeah. Oh wow. Speed is no longer a concept, and neither is life for you. And he dies. Like, did they forget with Beyonder killed death? How? Oh man.
Oh man.
All right, so let's take a look at this real quick. So I'm gonna just. I know I did a video, guys. I know I did a video, but just look. So right here, my favorite scan. Again, I'm just gonna hit it. You're gonna hear me hit it, and you hear me tap it. Ready? 1, 2, 3, boom, right there. He literally appears on the second frame, Roz. I don't get it. How is but he barely does? Because the animators don't want to draw integrating lines on top of Whis because they're still doing handmade animation. You
Exactly.
you nincompoops. I should call you a Denkai says. Dimwit. Anyway, let's see here. So basically that happens, and then on the fourth frame, boom, he ain't there anymore. Fifth frame, he ain't there. Sixth frame, he's there. Seventh, eighth, and ninth, or sorry, 10th. Oh yeah, the 10th frame right there. So there you go. The 10th frame. There's Gogeta. There's he is. We dodged it. I don't care what anyone says. You could barely notice it, but like, cause it's so fast. But like when you do it frame by frame, you're like, oh. And then people realize, how do we show infinite speed in a film, Ross?
You can't. That's almost impossible. Especially hand-drawn animation. You can't show that.
Exactly. That's like when those people are like, "Oh, God of War, man, Kratos is weak, man. That's not an infinite sized realm in the Yggdrasil tree." So you're telling me the world tree doesn't have infinite branches? No, because we don't see it expand to infinity. You can't draw infinity like that.
You can't just. I don't. That's the thing I just don't understand. People, because I actually had someone ironically, because someone brought up Death Battle. I actually had someone trying to argue with me in the Death Battle server like months ago about that whole thing. I'm like, it's like that just doesn't make sense. I'm like, first off, you have the goddess like what was her Freya or whatever her name was. You have her straight up say, the Yggdrasil branches that that are infinite and transcend space and time. They infinitely transcend space and time. Ymir says it. Freaking Cory Barlog and the directors of the game say it. The developers. The novel says it. I'm like, what more do you need? They're literally repeating it to you over and over again. They're infinite in size and they transcend time and space.
I need
Like,
everything.
what more do you want?
Everything.
Do you just want them to draw this long branch that extends to forever? I mean, I guess that's what people need, honestly, just to see that, to actually believe the overall feat or what the game or narration's telling them. I don't know.
Yeah. That's what happens.
It's oh god, I hate downplay.
Yeah, that's what happens. You have to deal with those type of people. Man, I'm sorry. I do apologize to people. I'm just kind of just drawing some stuff right now. But before I even get into that, finishing this picture of this ugly gremlin, who I'm pretty sure everyone knows who it is. What I do. Yeah, I think you know who it is too, right?
Yes, God, yes, freaking
just
freeze.
just put like a television coming out of his earlobe, like. I don't know, man. I'm bored. I'm bored in that area because I don't know what image. I'm bored as in I don't know what images to put on the screen to like convey exactly what we're saying. Because I think we pretty much covered almost everything. But I think there's one more a topic we need to bring up is I guess buzzwords, which is like
Oh yeah.
the whole multiverse. Yeah, but like, have you guys ever saw Daizire use the term multiverse? They don't. The Japanese
Not
rather
even
not.
once.
Yeah, the Japanese don't use that term. They say uchu or sekai, and they'll say parallel world, which I forgot the terminology to say it, but they're not gonna go into this whole like, well, um, they're Outerversal, and man, it's so cool because they have the Taigoku and they go beyond. No, that's not how it works. But to answer your
Not
question,
one bit.
Ariel Ramirez, if we're talking about infinite 3D, it encompasses pretty much everything that you know in real life. Temperature change, which temperature requires temporal change because it's temporal, but you're still under temporality in order to make this happen. So, I mean, you pretty much do anything you want with infinite 3D. I don't think people realize infinite 3D is not weak at all. The only idea about 4D is that, all right, wait for change. That's it. So that's really the only difference. Because if you have infinite 3D control, oh, he's a fifth dimensional being. I don't care what you are. Fifth dimensional being don't mean they have automatic control over infinite 3D worlds. Because as a 3-dimensional being, do you have infinite control over 2D world? I bet not.
Nope. You know what kind of crap I could do if I did?
Oh yeah, true. Sunny day, I like that. Omnipresent. How can you be omnipresent if you're only 3D? It's like, oh well, I'm omnipresent. He's 3D. Yeah, omnipresent in the 3D sense. But if you're high hyperversal omnipresent, well, I'm outerversal omnipresent. I'm like, is that a thing? Yeah, it is, because like you can exist. You could be I exist and I don't exist. Like Beyonder, he said, I am everything and I am nothing. They took that literally out of the scripture. They're trying to play that role, and the same thing. But when you start saying every character goes to Outerversal, I want to slap them with the back of a fishbowl or something, because it's like, no, stop overusing that goofy term. Stop overusing Immeasurable. Stop overusing Outerversal. It's like, well, I'm like, all right, Goku's immeasurable speed as Xeno Goku. Well, like, it doesn't matter. Ramiro Tempest is also immeasurable. Ramiro Tempest move octillions of times faster than light in his base. No. I didn't think so. Well, he's immeasurable. Like, no. Put him back in the 3D world. What's his fastest speed feat?
Exactly.
Exactly. You use that to scale. If we happen to have Whis, it doesn't matter if he's immeasurable because speed's almost irrelevant to someone like Whis. It still counts because obviously if Whis fought the Grand Priest, they would still be under the Platonic concept of time. I don't know how we would scale it because it's fiction, but they would still count under it.
And you can't scale it. That's the thing. I think some people just don't understand that. Because I talked to you about this actually. too many people try way too hard to kind of apply our rules, our physics, which let me make this clear. I understand that, there's some times where you do have to, you can use our science or whatever to sometimes calculate feats, whether it be speed or whatever. But when you're hitting things like infinite speeds on a 3D, 4D, 5D realm or whatever, and you're hitting those immeasurable speeds, you can't calculate that. That's impossible because we're nowhere near understanding anything like that. We still have theories
Exactly. That's
on
what
that realm.
exactly.
So
And that's why we have to use your best 3D feat to quantify it, because otherwise it'll just be a stalemate in speed, and we know that doesn't make any
yeah,
sense.
it's man.
It's like Granola when he's like, I can move faster than instantaneous movement. It's like, what?
Yeah.
How can Granola explain? I won't explain. Explain. I won't explain, because there is nothing to explain.
That's just fiction. That's just how it goes. If someone's be faster than, instantaneous movement, they could be faster than instantaneous movement. We're gonna have questions in our world, but in their world, that makes perfect sense,
We
apparently.
don't even know how regular instantaneous movement really works.
Oh,
But yeah, everyone, I pretty much hope I hope these answered the questions, and I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. But so far, I think that's pretty much hitting everything on the hammer on the nail. I mean, the only thing else is just buzzwords like, multiversal and universal. Back in the day, like, did you guys know that galaxy and nebula were synonymous with each other? So when Dragon Ball says it's a galactic nebula for the solar system, like, what does that tell you about Cell's feet?
oh yeah.
And you know why people say Kid Buu is universal? I mean, only multisolar Roz. They only say that because they try to use mathematics to say, oh, he's about 4 times, probably 8 times stronger than Cell because he's around Super Saiyan 3 Goku level, but Goku said he could beat him. So I mean, that doesn't make any dang sense.
Yeah, I know some others try to argue as well because, like, well, Kid Buu, took probably 1,000 years to destroy that one galaxy we see in the anime. I'm like, does the time really matter? He could have been doing it much faster than that, honestly. They didn't give us a time frame. Like,
That could have
I
been
don't
in one.
freaking
That
know.
could have been in one shot, by the way, and it was just a chain reaction.
Yeah, that could have been like a Dragon Ball Z, Broly, Legendary Super Saiyan, Broly thing where we watched, like, what was it, like restricted Super Saiyan Broly in the beginning of the movie wipe out South Galaxy in like possibly the span of a few days.
Exactly.
Completely. And yet people say that Cell can beat him. But, that's a different story. But
That's what
I don't
happens. I don't know. I don't know, SpongeBob. I think Cell actually can beat him. That's really how people are.
yeah,
Everyone's an idiot except for me. That's literally how I feel right now. Right? No, I'm just kidding. You guys are awesome. I appreciate everyone for coming through, and thank you so much for the support, guys. Be sure to look up Rozwell's YouTube channel, and be sure to give it a follow. I mean a follow, bro. We ain't on Twitter. Be sure to give it a like. I mean, wait, bro, it's not a video. Be sure to subscribe. Yeah, be sure to give him a subscribe. He definitely was a great help. Definitely one of the people I consult with all the time when it comes to power scaling. Him and Andre, of course, but I just Andre is not really like into like the whole YouTube, so I mean he's like, whatever.
something I should also make clear is that while I am sometimes of help to, Atara here, I'll be honest, his knowledge is far more, exceeds mine by a long shot. I still go over things. I still know the basics of most of everything that we talk about. And there's some things I do know to full detail. But his knowledge far exceeds mine. So, you know, that's why when he went more into depth, I didn't really say much. I was like, I'm gonna let him handle this, but
Yo, he saw it. Hey, it's our boy. Yo,
oh, he saw it. He
yeah,
saw it.
yeah, he saw Yahakui. I was like, yo. I had to use. I was like, I know he's gonna click on this video if he sees him because we're gonna start talking about higher dimension. You know, we didn't even talk about Yahoo. I didn't even talk about Yahoo because I don't even know too much about him. I just know that Definitely Endless back in the day used to tell me about him, and the difference with. Let me hold on. Let me speak about him for a moment. I don't know much, but the thing I will tell you is his ability. Like people think, oh well. Let me show you the difference. Remember how I told you in DC. Now remember this, guys. Remember this image. This is a geometrical shape spatial dimension. This is not like a spatial temporal dimension. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So what does that tell us? All right. So, let me see here. Let me see. All right. Yeah. Perfect. So this image here is perfect because this shows you an example of a regular dimension versus a actual spatial temporal dimension. Whereas Yakui can actually, has knowledge on a high, from what I recall, has knowledge on a higher universal, not even universal, on a higher level. Which I'm just like, how do people like not understand the difference between this? But it's okay. The whole point is, I'll show you the scan. You'll see the scan. I probably have shown it before, but there's a difference. You see, this is the DC scan. And I'm not disrespecting DC, but like I said, the difference is, as you can see with this scan, he says would add 37 to this universe. Because what he was going to do is he was going to add another dimension, at least according to what I'm seeing on the scan. Pardon me. And notice the term he uses, Roz. He says he says anisotrophic. So I'm like, if he's saying anisotrophic, doesn't that has something to do with the physical properties of values and measurements in different directions? So in other words, it's literally speaking of true spatial dimensions. And I will let Definitely Endless answer in the chat if these are spatial temporal or not. But I definitely know this man will poo. This man's gonna
clap a lot of people.
Yeah, the thing is, he doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't have to fight. From what I recall, I remember Definitely Endless was telling me, he doesn't fight. He doesn't need to fight you. Why would he fight you if he could just be like, oh, okay, so you're just an insignificant piece of data?
Literally. People actually should have called you that.
You're an insignificant piece of data. Get out of my face. Get out of my face, brother. Yeah. Yeah, man.
Oh, man.
Toriko, I would possibly do a video on Toriko, but I gotta reread it to make sure I'm giving them right. Because I do remember the Great King Bambina. I do remember about Acacia. I do remember about the hunger space on Minority World and how stupidly powerful they are. And as you guys could see, I'm pretty sure only a few people in the chat will probably even know who this character is. And no, it is not Gohan. It is purposely drawn in a semi style to look like Gohan, but it's not Gohan.
But is Ness Gohan? No, Patrick. Ness is not Gohan.
Oh yeah.
No, Patrick. Ness is not Gohan.
Yeah, but like basically, yeah, that would probably pretty much be it. But like for the most part, that's how we do it, guys. Yeah, he can just absorb you into himself or make like 200 clones of the person his way. What the
Wait, what?
So this dude
Hold on.
So he's Janemba on crack. With extra dimensions.
What the heck?
So he said, and that confirms it. That means he has spatial temporal distortion. That's crazy when you think about it. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. I don't know why people don't put him in more versus bat, but I mean, I guess I
think the reason why is pretty blatantly clear.
Yeah, honestly. Very true. It's like, oh, time, space. What is time? What is space? You mean that stuff that you humans have to worry about?
Sucks to be you. I don't worry about that crap.
Mm-hmm.
Of course. I remember he used to talk to me about, this guy too. I was like, I don't know. This guy just sounds really stupid broken.
Oh, I'm so mad.
Now
How did everyone know it was Lucas? Yeah, it's a Lucas, everyone. You're right. I mean, I thought you guys didn't play Smash. That's why I don't play Smash on this channel, because despite my skill in the game, I just don't play it because I don't know if people want to watch me destroy people. But yeah.
I mean, I've seen you in your nest. You'd probably destroy me in Smash. That's why I practice. In case I run into you.
Yeah, I do try to make sure I'm staying sharp. I mean, I might do, since this is a partial gaming channel as well, I might do some Smash one day. But for now, let me see here. Bugs Bunny would clap him. I don't know. It's just funny just watching him like, I'm going to add 37 and anisotrophic dimensions to this world.
Yeah, that's nice, Doc.
The show is not that big, honestly. If I wasn't watching the Japanese show called damn, I forgot, but I wouldn't have watched it. So it's so unknown. Yeah, makes sense. Stream Smash Brothers. Okay. Oh,
PK Fire.
yeah. I mean, I could stream Smash. Roz, you think I should do that? Stream Smash on a.
Later. I mean, you know what? Sure, go ahead.
All right, guys, you heard him. We're gonna stream Smash next time. Next time, you won't get away. All right, so. All right, so I'm kind of going too in on this picture, but yeah. All right, sounds good. All right, everyone. So I'll say that so far, I'd say it was a successful stream. Good information we gave out. What did you think?
I agree, especially with you kind of going more into detail on why just the stupid Outerversal clang.
Oh, the most Outerversal, the most overused term. So to recap for anyone, if this is a too long didn't watch type of video, timestamp this part right now. I'll let you guys know. Here's the basic breakdown. Outerversal is essentially just high hyperversal, except you view everything as fiction. Like, Outerversal is either A, you view everything below you as fiction, or B, you don't necessarily exist into anything, because if there's no spatial, that means you have no shape. And if it's no temporal, that means there's no change. So you need those components in order to destroy something in the first place, because otherwise it's not happening. So Outerversal is more so literally out of the verse. That's the term. I agree it should be an existent term, but people overuse it. A lot of characters don't really scale to it as much as they think they do. And like I said, hyperversal, when you reach infinite hyperverse, you're pretty much perpetually stuck into lower infinities, bypassing infinite dimensions that pass infinite dimensions, etc., for every real number, every whole, every whatever. Next, immeasurable. Immeasurable speed, it's only relevant to higher dimensional beings, and the only reason we use it is because it can't be measured. We don't know how a fifth dimensional being moves or operates, or what directions or how many directions they can move in. So therefore, we can't really quantify how it would really even look, or if it's even possible that there is a fifth dimension to begin with. It's just fiction. And the last but not least, buzzwords. Watch out for buzzwords. When you read a comic, when they say universe level, analyze exactly what makes up that universe, because it might not be universe. When they say, like, Spawn has an infinite level of has a hell that's infinite and a heaven that's infinite, and the regular world that's infinite, just like Bayonetta. They're about the same, like a low multiverse structure. So pay attention to that, and that's pretty much all you guys need to know. So there you go. There you have it. You just saved about 1 minute and 1 hour and 40 minutes of your life. So
wait, has it really been an hour and 40 minutes already?
Oh, yeah.
Wow, dang.
Sunny D, I actually played Low Tier God in Smash. I'm not joking.
Yeah, he actually did. He actually did. I saw, like, a highlight clip on, like, Low Tier God stream, and I saw Atara's like, what the fuck? I was like, I messaged Atara. I was like, Atara, you fought Low Tier God? What is this?
Yeah. He's not a bad player. It's just he needs to change his... He's not a bad player. He just mentally allows stupid stuff to bother him. because he's not like it's just like in Street Fighter. Street Fighter, he's actually good, but if he stopped letting stupid stuff get to him and just took accountability for his mistakes and be like, all right, I messed up, cool, all right, I messed up, cool, and then just kept learning his opponent and learn how to deal with bullcrap play styles, he would honestly be like a mid-high level player that you actually make it out of pools, like legit. But he kind of lets himself get a little bit under stressed, and it's good that he has confidence, but sometimes his confidence ends up turning into arrogance like Vegeta, and then he kind of gets slapped around like Vegeta and then gets pissed off that he got slapped around. So right now, low tier God is literally he's the
embodiment of ultra ego. He's the embodiment of ultra ego. That's the only thing that was going through my mind. He's ultra ego. Ultra ego. Just
yeah, ultra. How about ultra put this BBC? No, stop. You already know he's gonna say that.
He is. If he somehow sees this, I know if he's gonna get salty if he sees this. And if we aren't making fun of him, he's gonna get salty.
I personally follow him on Twitter because I actually think Dale is actually mad chill at times. It's just when he gets mad, and when he gets mad, it's okay too. The thing is, like, I think people take him too serious. I mean, not too seriously. They think he's like actually really that angry. Well, or he is, but they think that he actually means it when he be cussing people out. Like sometimes he means it, sometimes he doesn't. He's mad at the fact that he's losing because in a competition, it's like, it's like how Larry Bird be trash talking. He's not really like that in real life in person, but when the game is on, better put up or shut up. So I have a bit of respect for him. The only time I didn't respect him is when he said that about Broly legs. But outside of that, sorry, I kind of loud like, why even call him legs? why call him Broly? I was like, oh, dude, stop. That's mean.
Like, that's disrespectful to the character, man. I was like, oh Jesus, man, calm down, man. Calm down.
Oh,
chill.
Man. And Broly legs, I actually respect the crap out of him. He's one of my most inspiring players. He's the reason I didn't make any excuses when I got better at Smash. So much shout outs to Broly legs. Definitely give him support and love. And But all right, guys, this has been the video for today. I hope everyone has a good night. I'm going to annoy my Chihuahua right now because he doesn't like being annoyed, but it's funny to annoy him. And he probably has to go doo-doo. That's why he's looking at me right now. So, all right, everyone. You have yourself a good night. And, Roz, thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me, man. Take care, all of you beautiful people.
All righty. Peace.